Hey, all, it's Jim with Fort Sask Reno, and I'm here with Tom. We're the owners and operators of Fort Sask Reno. So we're here today to discuss the renovation project we've got going in Fort Saskatchewan. So this one is actually our first flip project where we've taken a bungalow in the Pine View area. It was a single family home that was 1971 original, I believe, and pretty well gutted it inside and out, and we've got a complete reno there, and we're getting near the end stages of that, and we have installed a legal basement suite. So that is the topic for today, is really just discussing that road from purchase to where we're at currently, and we can share some of the learnings of the process if you should choose to get yourself a basement suite, a legal basement suite, and we'll be able to enlighten you somewhat on what we've learned and what's required to make it happen in the fort. So Tom's done the lion's share of the lifting on this project, so we've got him in here today to shed some light on some of the learnings. And so given that, Tom, can you give us a few words about the project and where we're at currently, and we can get into the questions from there.
Yeah, for sure. So it's So it's been a fun project for the whole team. We've all put in a lot of effort into this place to get it tuned up. Lots of blood, sweat, and tears. Where we're at today is the basement is just in the finishing stages. We've getting our kitchen installed, and the guys are hard at work painting down there today. And my mom's over at the house giving the upstairs, which is pretty well finished up, a deep clean. So we got our renderings live on social media so people can have a good look at what it looks like when it's gonna be all cleaned up and stuff like that. Because at the moment we can't take any good pictures. We got building wrap on the counters to protect them, and all of our tools and stuff like that. But just like when you buy a new home, you usually buy a new home based on a rendering. You don't typically get to see the home built before the excavator gets there and digs the foundation and so on and so forth. So
that's the way of the future with the renderings, right?
Yeah, for sure. It really helps visualize stuff too. Like Paulo there, our architect, had done some renderings and edited them recently. So it was nice to see what the light will look like before I even ordered it. He had it in the house. Gave me some pretty good idea on what it'll look like, and it's ready in the Amazon shopping cart right now. A 2-day delivery once we're ready. I just don't want it to get dusty in the meantime.
Nice.
So we're finishing touches on the upstairs and the basement. We just got a couple bigger things to get installed, finished up next week, like the baseboard and the paint, the kitchen, and we're ready to hand the key over. Yeah,
nice. And we're looking at 85% complete at this point, roughly.
Yeah, that's a good mark for it.
Yeah,
give or take.
And what kind of timelines are we looking to get her buttoned right up finally?
We're hoping to have it completed in the next 30 days for sure.
Yeah.
And if anyone's interested in buying it, we're more than happy to start showing it.
It'd be ready.
There's some customization that can still be done too. That's what I always kind of had in the back of my mind, is if I did find a buyer before the paint was done, well, they may as well pick the paint colors and stuff like that.
Yeah. Gonna have to be quick though, because we're getting close.
Yeah, that ship has sailed now.
Very good. So, let's discuss some of the challenges. Like it's been a learning process, and it has been challenging even for us as seasoned professionals. We've got 18 years in business in renovations in Fort Saskatchewan and area, really the whole Edmonton area. And it still has been a challenge for us because it's a little bit different kettle of fish than an average project. Doing the legal basement suite, there are legal requirements and hoops to jump through. So if you could speak to that, and what have been some of the more important challenges or difficult things that you've had to overcome here to get us to this point.
Yeah, for sure. So it's been a challenging process, but we knew that going into it. Our business coach kind of advised us that we might not make any money on this one, but we're investing in a learning experience basically, and that'll probably hold true. But on the next one, I'm sure it'll go a lot smoother with what we've known, what we've learned. And some of the bigger challenges for sure was removing the wall that separates the main floor kitchen from the living room, because everyone wants an open concept main floor now. It's just thing of the times, right?
Yeah,
You don't
expected,
yeah,
really.
you don't see it very much anymore. The way they used to build them in the 50s and 60s, where everything's super cramped in
Yeah.
and really constricted and crowded feeling. So that was one of our big hurdles we tackled first, was removing the wall that separates the kitchen and the living room. So
Yeah.
of course, with that, we had to modify the electrical, the ducting, and also we had to retexture the whole ceiling. So just that one wall removal ended up being a lot of work.
Yeah. And with the wall removal, like what's important that the average homeowner, if you think you're going to remove a wall just to open up a space, how do you know you can do that or not?
Well, step one, if your home is older than 1980s, you should test for asbestos.
Yeah.
That's important. You don't want to expose your family to asbestos. So take it to Cobalt Analytics, get it tested up, and make sure, step one, it's safe to do so.
Right.
Step two is make sure that your roof isn't going to fall in. If you take that wall out, you got to make sure it's either going to have to add a beam, and if you have engineered joists, then maybe you're in luck.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have to add any beams because all of our it's called balloon framing. All the weight spans to the exterior wall. So we got lucky there. We had the engineered rafters, so that was important. And then, of course, making sure that your electrical and all the plumbing and anything that's in that wall is taken care of properly. You don't want to make any shortcuts on that's regard.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. That we've seen it before, where people have no clue what they're doing, and so, well, I just removed that wall, and it could be a load-bearing wall. You could really be causing yourself some issues if you ever go to try and sell a house and you've removed a load-bearing wall. Yeah, bad news. So that's something that's important to know. And like, what have been some of the main challenges you've experienced running through this project to get a legal basement suite?
So some of the main challenges would be the removal of the wall that separated the kitchen from the living room. That was a big project, from texturing the ceiling to redoing the electrical that was in that wall and the ducting and whatnot. So that was a big one for sure, making sure that we did it right. And we do have balloon framing in that ceiling there, so that made it nice. We didn't have to add a structural beam.
Right.
So it's quite challenging just to remove that wall, but the payoff in the end is well worth it. When you walk in the front door, now you can see the beautiful kitchen with the quartz counters and a nice island there. So that was one of the biggest challenges. For the main floor, as well as main floor laundry, was a real struggle to figure out logistically what's going to work well. We tossed and turned over and over trying to figure out how to get doors on the laundry to make it a closed-in space, but in the end we decided to leave it open and expand the closet area out to accommodate the washer and dryer, and ran the ducting out the front of the house, and it worked out really nice. We had added some built-in shelving.
Yeah, it came out quite nice. Just have a dedicated laundry room, and we were considering using it partly as a bedroom, but with a dedicated laundry room, it's going to be a nice space. You could still use it as a bit of a flex room even, but yeah, some interesting challenges there. Anything else in terms of like the code issues and those type of things that you didn't know before that you know now, and moving forward it's going to be a little easier for us?
Yeah, for sure. The code was a tough one. The code book is 1,570 pages, and it's made by a lawyer, so you almost need to be a lawyer to interpret it half the time. I mean, I asked ChatGPT quite a few questions on it, have it research it for me, but luckily there is some good inspectors in the fort, and they're pretty responsive, so got to know some of the inspectors and pick their brains a bit on that stuff. So some of the code requirements is a continuous layer of 1/2-inch drywall on the ceiling throughout the whole suite, as well as the utility room had to have the entire thing drywalled, including around all your pipes and all that good stuff. Another code requirement was the sound deadening. We had to install that we installed the fiberglass batt insulation in the whole ceiling of the basement, as well as a res channel. So it's nice and quiet there now. I came to site the one day and I asked the guys, did you hear me come in? And there was nothing they heard. So there was a lot of code requirements for sure that we had to deal with, and it added a lot of expense and it added a lot of time. But moving forward, we know that now, and there was a couple things that we got caught by surprise that we were on ready to go with the next step, and then we realized, no, wait, we got to take a step back and tune this up.
There was something with the some vapor barrier under the framing in the basement. What was that all about?
So it's a common issue we run into. Basically what it is you need to have a layer of poly underneath your base plate if it's not treated, and or you could have a treated base plate. I was kind of under the influence that since it was an older home that it might be grandfathered in, but I had the inspector dig out his 1970s code book from the basement, and he said even back then there was that poly underneath the base plate.
Oh, okay.
So that meant that we were digging up all the base plates and wrapping them in poly, and it was a big job throughout the whole basement, pretty much reframing part of the whole basement at that point.
Yeah. So we did mostly gutted everything. There was everything that was old is new now. So let's talk about the kitchen. It's one of the bigger selling points in any home. So tell me about the kitchens upstairs and downstairs. What are we looking at now?
Okay, so yeah, as we mentioned, we had to take out a wall that separated the living room from the kitchen on the main floor. So after that was done, it opened up some space for a nice island there. And it worked out well that we had the ducting that used to be in that wall. I was able to install it in the toe kick of the island and hide it. So that worked out really nicely. Originally, I caught the carpenter just in time. He was about to hack a hole through the back of the island. And I said, whoa, let's change the plan there. I wanted it to be kind of hidden. So there was that. And then we did a white shaker cabinet. It's kind of timeless. You can't really go wrong with that nowadays. That's what we both have in our own homes too. Yeah. So we went with that and some quartz to really make it pop. That's at first it was a little clinical, but once we got our tile in with the backsplash and some darker grout, it really flows nicely. And we did the black accessories. So with the white and the black, it kind of pops well. So before, the kitchen was all just on one bank basically, and the fridge was off against that wall that was removed. So it was really small, no dishwasher, and it was original. So it was small, old, and not very functional. Very little counter space. But now we have a L-shaped kitchen, and we have the sink. We moved it so it looks out into your big yard, one of the biggest yards in Fort Saskatchewan, actually.
Yeah, nice.
So turned out pretty nice upstairs for sure.
In the basement, is it carbon copy? Or are you doing pretty well the same thing in the basement? That kitchen's going in Monday, right? Yep,
the basement kitchen goes in on Monday, and that one was quite the thing to figure out downstairs for sure. It's a lot different than the upstairs kitchen. We got a little creative there. We have our plumbing and our electrical runs underneath the concrete to our island in the basement. So that way we can have the sink and the dishwasher in the island. So nice. It's going to be a nice little touch. And then it's small, but it's only a 1-bedroom suite down there. So it'll be more than enough for a small couple or a small family.
Yeah.
And that one is just smooth white cabinets. It's not shaker style cabinets.
Okay.
But it'll check all the boxes. We'll have the fridge and the dishwasher, and a lot of basement suites aren't set up with a dishwasher for sure. So.
No. Yeah, I've got the custom tile shower and all that as well. It's going to be a really nice little unit down there for somebody.
Yeah, for sure. It used to be a half bath down there. So it was a lot of work to get that to a full bathroom. But we switched the furnace 180 degrees, and there used to be a small door to access the furnace. So once we switched the furnace 180 degrees, that meant that we could remove that door, and we swapped the bedroom door. It used to open just outside the bathroom, so we moved that to enter into the rec room, and that made us able to double the size of the washroom and get that custom tile shower against the back wall.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice there soon enough. permitting, like, what are some of the permitting challenges that the folks should know if they should choose to undertake such an operation? Like, what were some of the major challenges in permitting?
Well, first and foremost, it was expensive for the permits. I think we're probably into it close to $2,000, and that doesn't include the prints that you need and so on and so forth. So number one, I'd say the cost. You have to be ready to spend some money for the permits. They're not cheap in the fort, especially when you're doing a legal basement suite, changing the home from single family to multifamily. I think that was the main cost for permits, but just following all the very strict code requirements was challenging. We needed to make sure we had the HRV, which is a heat recovery ventilation system, and that separate heat source we had to make sure we had, as well as the egress window, and fire rated drywall in the ceiling, and soundproofing, solid core doors. I could go on all day.
It's quite a lot to it.
There's a lot
for the average person to sort out, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the backflow prevention, we had to make sure that if the upstairs backed up, it wouldn't flood into the basement suite. So that one kind of caught us by surprise. I think we even had a little bit of concrete poured in the bathroom, and we ended up pulling that out. But luckily, our plumber came in there, and he was able to get it done in one day, pop the backflow prevention in, and get us code compliant.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, where are we now? Groundwork issues. What was all that about? What were some of the challenges with the groundwork in the basement?
So for the groundwork, we ended up buying a jackhammer. We got tired of renting them. It can be pretty expensive to rent it, so ended up buying a jackhammer, and we went to town. We installed as I mentioned before, for the basement kitchen, we have our hot and cold and our sewer line for the island, and the electrical runs underneath the slab there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice. And also we had to do a lot of busting of the concrete to add the full bathroom, because it was just a half bath before. And the backflow prevention, we had to do some jackhammering there as well. So the laborers had their work cut out for them, and we got it tuned up.
Framing and finishing, what can you talk about with the framing and finishing? Were there some challenges there at all you'd like to speak to?
So for some of the framing, as we started to touch on, the upstairs laundry, we did a bit of framing to extend a wall out. Just the wall for the side of the closet, we extended out, I should say, because before, this house actually had main floor laundry in the first place, but anyone could tell that was an afterthought. It was really rough and dirty.
Yeah.
So we just wanted it to look intentional. That's with any renovation, you always want it to look intentional. You never want to look at your project and be like, oh, you can tell it looks like this is an afterthought.
It's just a workaround, kind of home handyman stuff is what you want to avoid.
Mm-hmm. So we did a bit of framing upstairs to accommodate the full depth of the dryer. Mm-hmm. And then that allowed us to have some built-in shelving on the other side of this wall that we extended. So that was one challenge for the main floor. And then for the basement, there wasn't too much framing to do. We just moved a couple walls around. And in these older homes, you're working with a low headroom too. So it can be a little challenging to get your doors to fit in there proper.
Right. Very good. So how about the power issues? Was there anything, any considerations there that the folks should know at home if you're considering this type of project? What's important about power?
So for power, a lot of these older homes, and this one included, it probably came with a 60 amp service. So when we first bought the home, we thought, oh, it's got an updated panel, so we're set. Now we know 100 amps doesn't go that far. Our first electrician actually said, no, it's not possible. Your power demands are exceeding your 100 amp capabilities. But the next electrician, he had a couple tricks up his sleeve, so he set us up with a load miser system. So basically that just limits the load that can be consumed at one time. So basically, if the upstairs tenant wants the AC on and the basement suite wants the baseboard heaters on, that's not going to fly. It'll cut power to the AC, which shouldn't be a big problem. I don't really foresee them
competing if it's If they got AC on upstairs, it's probably a hot day and they're not going to be pumping out any heat in the basement type thing.
Exactly, but there is pretty high power requirements for the suites because we got 2 of everything, 2 washers, 2 dryers, 2 stoves. So yeah, we ended up getting that fixed up and pot lights throughout the whole house. And in the kitchen upstairs, we got GFI plugs and we got island power both up and down. So there's a lot of electrical. It was one of the biggest challenges was getting the electrical tuned up, and interconnected smoke alarms as part of the code requirement.
Yeah.
So we had to run wires from the basement and hook them all up throughout the whole house. And yeah, it's been an interesting battle, but we got her done in the end.
Very good. Now, to talk about soundproofing and safety specifically for legal suites, what can you tell us about that?
So for soundproofing, we ended up doing fiberglass insulation, and that was throughout the entire ceiling. So that makes a big difference when it comes down to the transfer of the sound. It really limits the sound. And then we also did the res channel throughout, and basically that just drops your drywall lower than the floor joists. That way the reverberations don't transfer, and it's not as much sound. It's not soundproof, but it's a lot better than what most homes are.
Yeah, is it pretty effective, you think, with a resilient channel and batt insulation?
Yeah, I think it made a pretty big difference. When someone walks in the upstairs and you're in the basement, you don't really hear it. Same with the footsteps and whatnot. So
yeah.
Another big challenge was just getting the drywall in the entire mechanical room. We had to have every square inch drywalled and taped and fire caulked. So just trying to cut around all those pipes really was challenging, but the guys got it done, and it actually turned out pretty spiffy, I'd say.
Good deal. HRV system, what is it? Why is it important? And why do we have one? Why do people need them in these type of projects?
So the HRV, we needed to install that because it's a code requirement. And basically what that does is it just allows some fresh air to get into the home. And it also acts as a way for the warm, moist air in your shower to get exhaust out to the house. And basically the idea of the home, that HRV system is when you want some fresh air coming in your house, you don't want minus 35 air in the wintertime. So there's a way that it warms up the air as it comes in.
Okay.
And then you're not having that negative 35 air. It uses some of the warm air to warm up, preheat the air on the way in.
Okay.
And we also eliminated all of the ducting from the furnace. The furnace now only serves the main floor.
Okay.
So we had to install the baseboard heaters, which
should do it. There's enough power there to run the baseboard heaters and warm that smaller space up.
Yeah, with our load miser system, we'll be set there to have baseboard heaters, and be kind of nice too. You can set the temperature of your bedroom a little bit hotter if you want, or cooler. And
yeah, where have you got them located in the basement suite there?
So we got one in the bathroom, one in the bedroom, and I think 3 in the rec room, and that's it.
Oh, plenty enough to warm that whole space.
Yeah, even when it was minus 30, we didn't have any heat in the basement, and it was a bit cool, but it was bearable.
Yeah. Very good. So we've talked about the interior quite a bit. What's been done on the outside of that home, and any advice, any challenges, recommendations for those folks that are wanting to do this type of project as well?
So for the exterior of the home, we started off with brand new triple pane windows. So we took out all the old original windows with the aluminum frame, and they don't offer much R value, and they not ideal for Canadian winters. So we went ahead and installed all new windows, casement triple pane from Lux. So they're really high-end windows. We ended up shopping around lots trying to find a better deal, but turns out we had the best deal with Lux anyways, and that was step 1. From there, we also installed 2 new exterior doors. So we have a 3/4 glass for the front door, lets lots of natural light in, and the rear door we went with a half glass. So that was step 2, and first was windows, then doors, and then we got the siding all buttoned up with, it was a stucco home, so we added a small leveler insulation, 3/8 leveler, And from there, we did a vertical board and batten siding the entire home. It's a pretty common look that a lot of people are doing nowadays. And again, arguably, it's a timeless look.
Yeah.
White, you can't really go wrong with that. It doesn't really go out of fashion.
Yeah, it's a little bit nicer than the average horizontal stuff. Kind of pops in the neighborhood for sure.
Yeah.
With the nice white windows and the new doors. The new front door's real nice with the frosted glass, like you say. And that you have that's about it really for the project, right?
Yeah, overall, yeah.
I like that. The high points for sure. You have any final thoughts on this project? Any final thoughts on any of the difficulties that we've encountered, and any final advice for those folks listening that want to undertake such a project as this?
Yeah, I would just touch on the fact that even being in the business for over 17 years, it was a challenge for us. Obviously, this wasn't the only project we've done in the last 6 months, because we do contracting work throughout the whole year. So sometimes this could be a bit of a back burner project for us, but nevertheless, it was extremely challenging for people in the industry. So if you're trying to tackle it yourself, best of luck. You're gonna have to get familiar with the inspectors for sure. You're gonna have to be buddies with them, and best of luck to you. It's a challenging project, but the end result is worth it. And in the fort, it's a less than 1% vacancy rate. So there's a lot of people who they're getting older in their homes and they're staying in the homes, but you could have a couple, just an older couple, and they have a whole home to themselves. But with the shortage of housing, we do really need basement suites in the fort. So
yeah,
hopefully more people, and we will be doing more of these
for sure,
just to try and help out the fort. And
yeah, there's quite a few of the new homes in the fort are being designed with set up already for basement suite, and we're finding that quite a few of them are they're completing the top 2 floors and then leaving the basements undeveloped. So we've been asked to quote a few of those, and I can see a lot more of that coming up where we'll be completing those. It makes it a little easier when the house is already designed for that with a separate entrance already, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we're currently doing a basement in the newer area of the Fort Saskatchewan, and it is set up originally as a basement suite. We're not going to be installing a basement suite, but just having that side entrance is a game changer. Just being able to come in and out of the house, and you never have to walk on the customer's finished floor. Compare that to the other basement we're doing, and you got to walk by the 1-year-old and the 2-year-old and try and bring some drywall around the corner. It's very challenging.
It's very interrupting for the family, but sometimes it has to be done. If you want the improvements, you got to put up with a little bit of that stuff.
But yeah, it makes a big difference having that side entrance, just bringing the drywall down there and just having everything prepped on the newer homes for sure. It's takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. You already have your exterior walls framed up. You have your egress windows. You got your sump pump. So makes it nice for us for sure when you get in there and a lot of the legwork's done.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about some of the code issues because it's already been done, say, like with the vapor barrier underneath the framed walls in the basement or the pressure treated there. Also, of course, you're not going to find any asbestos in the new construction. Anything from about 85 on is probably pretty safe for negative asbestos results. So that's something else a little easier on those newer homes. Again, we had spoken about it previously, but we're in the industry. We've been like, this is our 18th year, start of our 18th year in business here, and it was still challenging for us to complete this project. Well, we're nearly complete here, but for those folks, like you say, trying to undertake this on their own, you're gonna have to do a lot of studying to figure it out, or know some people. We've got an architect on staff, and so that's been really helpful in the construction drawings, which are mandatory for all your permitting. And just that one aspect alone has been really good for us. It's been a bit of a game changer. If you had to do that on your own, that would be very difficult to undertake, or you're going to have to pay someone else to do it. So that was another item there where we are going to be able to help you out. If you don't want to undertake this type of a project, of course, Fort Sask Reno, we're here to help you and get these type of projects done. I can see this being a a hot item over the next years to come, and we look forward to working for many of you. If you should like this type of a project, you can definitely contact us and let us know when we can come and give you a free estimate on that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on another YouTube video, and next time you see us, we'll have the final video ready for you.
Yeah, awesome. Very good. Nice job, Tom.
Pleasure.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Like, subscribe, and all those good things. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.